Welcome to Yerushalmi Megillah Daf Chaf, and we're by the Mishnah. Lochi Yudei Zaktel Mishnah. Ein Ben Shiloi Yerushalayim. There's no difference between Mishkan Shiloi and Shiloh in the base of Mikdash. Ela Shebashilo Eichlin Kachim Kalon Meiser Sheni. B'Cholaroy and Shiloh the halacha is, and you can actually see that today. It's how they know where Shiloh is that you can see all around Shiloh, around the whole area. You see broken pottery all around from people who ate kachim, because you were able to eat kachim from wherever you can see Shiloh. With Shalayim, you can kachim can only eat lefnim and achayim inside the wall. It's in Yerushalayim. V'kan kachim nechol lefnim and aklon. In both cases, both in the Beis Hamikdash and the Mishkan Shiloh, could only eat in the Kodesh. It's in the Mishkan itself. In the Beis Hamikdash itself, kedusha Shiloh yesh acharav heter. Kedusha Shiloi has afterwards heter, not heter, heter abamis. As once Mishkan Shiloh was destroyed, you're allowed to make bamis, as we'll see in the Gemara. Kedusha Yerushalayim ein achre heter. As once Yerushalayim is destroyed, unfortunately, like we see today, you can't just build a mizbech in your backyard and bring karbanis. Zok the Gemara. Rav Yochanan ba'amar yeshamal amanada. So, according to Rechaim Kanievsky, this Mishnah doesn't belong here, and really this Gemara goes off what we ended off yesterday, talking about the Bamis that the Nevi'im built, Eliyahu built, and it was Hira Shah. So, but okay, be that as it may. So he says, Shalom Ado, Oz Yivne Yeshua Mizbech Lashem Lekesro Bahar Evel. So we see that Yeshua at that time he right. So Yeshua went, and according to Rechaim Kanievsky's understanding Gemara, that this is showing that a Navi has a koyach to build a mizbech, even though there was no at that point there was no heter abamas, but also the Navi has a koyach to be able to build a mizbech, and that's what we see. He built a mizbech b'har evo. Ainli ela har evo. So this is I okay by har evo was before Mishkan Shiloh was built, right? So. If I said Mishkan Shiloh before, I was talking about the Mishkan in the Midbar. So Eli Alarevo Shiloh Minayin. How do I know that once Shiloh was destroyed, when Eli Akain died? So Mishkan Shiloh at that point was destroyed. How do I know after that you can build a mizbeach? So that would bring right from Shmuel, who was grew up by Eli, so he was after Eli. Beikach Shmuel Taleh Chalev Echad by Eli Oilu Kol Hashem. So we see he brought a carbon. I Mishkan Shiloh was destroyed, so he built a mizbech. Amar Abba Bar Kahana Shalosh Averes Hutru V'Seyo Shel Shmuel. Actually, Shmuel's had three were called three averis that were mutter. Now, it's three things that you normally wouldn't do. So first of all, the oil that he bought is huva oira. He didn't do hafshata first. He was makriv together with the skin. Umechusas man, because it says chalev in the pasuk. So you see, obviously, it was a young baby. The oil that he brought, so it wasn't old enough. He brought as an oil, and well, we go to say Laila, he brought the carbon at night. So actually, Amar Rabbi Yosef Imin Ado Lesh Mami No Klum. You don't see anything from here. Amar Rabbi Khan Sheva Averos Hutru Beparish Al Gidon. Gidon also brought a carbon, and there were seven things that he did which normally would be Yasser. Avonim Sulos. First of all, he used the avonim from the Mizbeach Habal. Va'atzei Asherah. He used wood from an Asherah tree. Umukta was set aside. I forget, was that the animal? Right, he took the shore, and that was had been hooked for avodah zarah, and he used it for a carbon. V'nevad, and he would actually worship. V'layla was at night. V'zar, and he was a zar. V'isur bam at that time. So now, what we're proving from over here is that it was a Ra Shah, and the same thing by Shmuel. In other words, not necessarily didn't go and build them as Bayach in a kind of way that we think of a bum as a person puts up a bum in his backyard, and he's makar kabbanis whenever he wants. As opposed to Ra Shah. Ra Shah is he had a specific nevuah to put up to put up a mimakriv, a carbon at that time. That's not the same thing as a heter bama. But however, the Gemara says, "Man the boy shmina tavos." If you want a good raya regarding building a mizbeach, and it was a heter abama, Menahid Reb Shmuel ben Nachman. I can bring it to you from Shmuel Nachman. Uchuvasai, it says in the pasuk, Uchuvasai Haramasa, Ki Sham Beisa, Visham Shafat is Yisrael, even Sham is Beach Lashem. So it says over there that Shmuel went and built a Mizbeach Hashem. So this mimer from this man from Shmuel Nachman tells me what does it say over here. So he built a mizbeach. That's as opposed to Hoira Shah. This was done as a permanent mizbeach, as we think of a bama today. So he put up a mizbeach, Shmuel, and his macro kabbanis and ksiv. And it says, and once we have it already, we dash in the pasuk ksiv vayoram atabach as a shoik va'al yivayosum fnei shol. He put him in front of Sholem Melech. So what is the shoik in the aliyah? So Rav Shmuel ben Achman says shoik of a shufa. It's the shank and it's the cap of the thigh bone. Rabbi Yochanan Amar shoik of aliyah. It's referring to the shoik and the tail. Rabbi Elazar Amar chazei v'shoik. It's the breast and the shoik. Dam Rabbi Elazar chazei v'shoik l'koinim b'bama gedolah. However, l'baylam b'bama ketana. In this case, it was a bama ketana, so it was able to go to someone other than the kohen. In this case, I think it was Shol that actually got it. And okay, Chaim Kanievsky brings down that the reason we're bringing down why are we saying all these the chazeh, the chazah, the shaykh. So because these things came together when there was a tnufa, they were these items were put together. So we're darshaning in the pasuk when it says hashaykh value, we're darshaning is these different parts of the carbon. Rab Zeura b'shem Rab Lezer or ha'ila l'kayanim. The or ha'ila normally goes to the skin, the hide of the carbon. It normally goes to the koyanim. B'bama gedaylim. Well, a bailim b'bama ketan. However, in a bama, your own private bama, then the bailim can keep it. Rabbi Yochanan boy halayla. Oh, I skipped the line here. Sorry. Rab Zeura b'shem Rab Yirmiyah trumas toida l'kayanim b'bama gedaylim. So trumas toida by the trumas lachme toida. So in a bama gedola, let's say in Noiv Givain Shiloi, then it goes to the kohenim l'bailim bama ketana. But if you bring it on your own private bama, then you can keep it. Rabbi Yochanan boy, what about halayla my sheikasha b'bama? Can I bring a carbon on my private bama at night? And we know normally avoid is done during the day. Hey, so Reb Laza, Avoksiv, Yomishol, Poitzu Ba'am, Ba'amartem Lem Agishu Alai Ish Shoiroi. And the rest of that pasuk, which is not here the Gemara, it says over there, I'll just read out the pasuk again. V'yomishol, Putzu Ba'am, Ba'amartem Lem, you should say to them, Agishu Alai Ish Shoiroi, everybody should bring that. Yeah, V'ish Seyo, bring the animals, Shchattem Bozeh, V'achaltem, and you'll eat V'loi Sechtor Hashem, Lecholos El Adam, Ve'agishu kolam ish shor b'yodei halayla. Now that's the key word over here. Halayla v'yishku sham. So see, they shechted at night. Now that's one pasuk, siv. But then the pasuk right before this pasuk, it says, "Vayigidu l'shol leimor hine ha'am chaytem Hashem lechol al hadam vayom v'gadatem godu elei hayoim even gedola bring perform a big stone today." So you see hayoim. Haketzat, what are we talking about? When did he bring it? Did they shecht at night? Did they shecht during the day? What's going on over here? So the Gemara says, Halayla lechulin. So at night they shechted chulin. They were hungry. During the day, so the pasuk that mentions hayoim, that's referring to kaidush. So we see from over here that you can't bring karbanis even in a bama ketana at night. Kacham Rabbi Yochanan heard this. I'm a yafal imadnu Rabbi Laza. That's a good. The nice tickle Torah. Pinchas b'shem Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Loi Kosev Echaloim Vayitosh Mishkan Shiloi. And it says in one passage Vayitosh Mishkan Shiloi because Echaloim Vatviyeu Beis Hashem Shiloi. Well, haketzad, is it a bayis or is it a Mishkan? So the Gemara bayis shalavana milamata v'yirius milamhalon v'hi hoisa menucha. That the Mishkan Shiloi had bricks on the bottom. And we'll see it was the first 10 tefachim were made up of bricks, and then on top of that they had the urias they had the urias. I believe those are the same urias that we used in the Mishkan and the Midbar. But it has to be 10. In order it was 10 went up 10 tefachim, like we said, the bricks went up 10 tefachim. That would be already considered a bais. And I should say, v'hi oisa menucha, in other words, we darshan kiloi basim adata ella menucha vela nachala, vela nachala menucha. Right, so we said menucha, in this case, is referring to Mishkan Shiloi. Nachla is the base Elam, the base of Mikdash. Okay. V'atoni kishim sha'oyel moyed noto kach oyel b'shebeshilo noto. This is what he's talking about. The same with oil moyed in the midbar was noto. You know, there was spread out over it, that curtain spread out over it. Same thing about Shilo. So Am Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Bun, cross of cross Shabricha v'amudav adonov, v'oyu akrosim nirim mitoche kekoichavim barakia. That um, it's the last part was just bringing the value across and said the hooks appeared the way they were dark, the curtains were dark, very dark blue or black, and therefore the hooks looked like stars where they connected the curtains. It looked like stars. But what we're saying is that the Mishkan and Hanami it was spread out. And it was spread out similar to the way it was in Midbar. But the Midbar was 100% curtains, and the Mishkan Shiloh already it was like we said, it was the bottom layer was stones, and then on top of that it was curtains. Rab Chi Rabba, Amar Rab Shimon, Rabbi, Ani Shematim Abicha. Rab Shimon, I heard from your father, Rabbi, Shekol Chayfais, Shehoyu, Loyu Elu B'toy Chelka Shebiyam. All Chayfais, all the resting places of the Kodesh, in other words, the Mishkan, the Beis Hamikdash, they were all in the Chelik of Binyam. My timer. Where would he see this from? Because a bank safe of Shachin, we see bank safe of it says by Binyamin, bank safe of Shachin, so that's by Binyamin, right? It rests on his shoulders. But so we see Vayimois Ba'oil Yosef that Hashem was disgusted with Shiloi in Oil Yosef, referring to Mishkan Shiloi. So we see it was Nechelik of Yosef. Okay, Vayivcha b'shevet and the Gemara says Vayivcha b'shevet Yehuda v'chi Yehuda bacha v'chi Yehuda bacha. So the Gemara says no. Just like by the Beis Hamikdash, it says Vayivcha b'shevet Yehuda v'chi Yehuda bacha. What that Kadosh Baruch Hu picked in Yehuda. We know the Beis Hamikdash was in Binyamin, right? Except he had that it was Nechelik of Binyamin. Except he had that little ritzua that right that where there was no Saiviv. But everything else is the chelik of Binyamin. So what do you mean v'chi b'Yehuda bacha? El b'chiru b'chira. So we learn to say shah b'chir. Ma b'chir shneim lahalam Binyamin. Just like b'chira, that it says by the Beis Hamikdash is Binyamin b'chlal. Af b'chira shneim kam Binyamin b'chlal. That Binyamin is where most of it was settled. Where most of the Mishkan was located. Rabbi Yoina Rav Hashem Rabbi Yosef Mechanina Ratzon Shoich Nisneh Kodshim Hameratzim Necholim Bechelko Shel Yosef. It says Ratzon Shoich Nisneh. So it's referring to Kodshim Hameratzim like Ratzon or Tzoin. So Kodshim that Hameratzim are eaten the chelik of Yosef. Amar Avduma the Tziporin Kerosh Torah Hoy Nichnas Mitoich Chelko Shel Yosef Mitoich Chelko Shel Binyamin. There was a triangle. If you can imagine a triangle, and the point, one of the points of the triangle went into the Chelik of Binyamin, by Mizbeach Nasan Olav, and the Mizbeach was on this part of the Rosh Torah, the triangle was sitting on top of that, and that Chelik of Yosef, Mataima, Benasu Agvul Mizrocha, Ta'anas Shiloi, and the Gvul went east to Ta'anas Shiloi. Ta'anas Shiloi is like wailing. Ad is Kufya the Shiloi. Until the wailing part of the wailing part of Shiloh. In other words, the wailing part is that Binyamin was wailing the same way we have in the Beis Hamikdash with the Mizbeach. He had over here also that Binyamin was wailing on the part that he lost out, this little small part of Mishkan Shiloh that he lost out to Yosef. Rabbi Yonah Ravo b'shem Rabbi Yossi ben Chanina Ratzon Shoich Nisneh Shesharas Shechina B'snov Shel Yosef, that the Shechina rested by the enemies, the son of Shel Yosef, by the enemies, not his brothers who were his enemies at one time, right? They sold him. So the Shechina was shore over there. And what does that mean? It means that, like we said earlier, that since you were able to eat you were able to eat kachim in Bechol Aroya. So in many surrounding areas around Mishkan Shiloh, we were able to eat kachim, and those were and that was in the different halakim of the shvatim. You were able to eat kachim. which meant that that was the Shechina was shaykhing in the enemies of Yosef.